Also want to hear how the template assisted you or didn't in working through your lesson plan, talking about how easy or difficult it is or challenging it is to actually teach critical thinking skills versus asking students to demonstrate their ability to use them, use the skills, identify the skills, and be successful on assessment of the skills. So the teacher end of it, and how challenging that is. We have some observations about that as well. So with your permission, we'll kind of go through that, but is there anything else in general or specific about coaching you'd like to talk about, other than what I mentioned?
One comment I'd make is, in any given classroom, the skill set of the critical thinking of the students are going to be all over the board. Some are going to be very good at it, and some are going to be,
Exactly.
what do you mean I'm supposed to think?
Right. Yeah.
So that creates a challenge in itself of how you develop the lesson or lessons, or stack those lessons to not have the boredom of the students. And maybe the answer is mentoring. Maybe the answer is if they just, maybe the students that are really good at it just are able to naturally, progress through that first elementary type lesson. But I'm afraid some of the students, I just don't think that critical skills develop that quickly for somebody that doesn't have them. And that's a real challenge to teach it. Some develop, some already have it, and they're obviously easy to develop.
Like any other skill set, they come in on the whole continuum of, barely finding the door to get in the room to, being the student who could probably teach the class in a way, that whole thing, that range. So, yeah, differentiating your instruction to teach critical thinking skills is one of those other differentiating experiences. But yes, I can see it would be challenging, for sure.
Yeah, and I like that idea, because I'm all about, coming from CT, I'm all about stackables. And I like the idea of constantly building on that process. I mean, Steve had talked about you have multiple exercises that sort of fit into that. Sue and I are looking at, she's got one set and then you add on in another class that feeds in, and so you're stacking them that way. And I think that's the way we have to look at it, from all the way through, from the high school up through the classes, that is constantly being reinforced but then added to, so that you don't lose it. And it's not, oh, I had it here, now I don't have it, and then I gotta come back. And that constant reinforcement, but at a different level, is to me how you develop it and make it stick, in addition to using real world situations.
Absolutely. I think the CTE teachers have had an incredible different experience from perhaps their academic colleagues in the classroom, because what has happened, and one of the unintended consequences of the content standards that have been in place for the last 14 years for K-12 teachers, is that typically, I'm generalizing, they didn't teach critical thinking skills. They taught facts and recall. And if you think about Bloom, that's the base, that's like where you start, but that's not where you're supposed to stay. So part of the issue where we have students come in our classrooms whose readiness and capacity isn't maybe where you would hope it to be or expect it to be, part of it is because they have not been taught to think critically, or have they been assessed to think critically.
In my classes, some of the most challenging students are not the kids who have discipline problems, who don't do well with English. It's the kid who is good at all of those and wants the answer handed to you, and he can't.
And he'll remember it forever, but it's...
He can't look at a project and be like, I have these projects on the wall, and all the parts are cut out, the project's assembled next to it, and he can't seem to grasp, how do you take these parts and assemble it into this?
Just give me the step-by-step manual.
Right, and unfortunately, I've catered to that by making videos on YouTube and say, here, watch the 30-minute video, I built the whole thing in 30 minutes.
But as we move more towards the Common Core and the new model of CTE standards, there's a lot more critical thinking in the Common Core as well as the new model CTE standards.
As
So we're all on this journey.
As I call CTE, the land of no accountability, with the wink, because it's really the lens
No,
of
I
all
would say that.
accountability.
Yeah.
So, Virginia, what that really means is that the greater challenge is now for us at, say, a high school or a college level, as people move through the K-8, K-12 system, it will get easier and easier to generate our critical thinking lessons and assessments, because the people, the students that we deal with will be more trained.
We'll have a foundation.
Yeah, which they do
Foundation.
not have
No,
now.
they
But
don't.
you also have the problem of 14 years of teachers who have,
Yeah.
Yes.
like me,
It's a
who've come
process,
into this
yeah.
world
Yeah.
as, I came in as a history teacher originally, and I was a fact-driven, you gotta pass this
Sure.
stupid test at the end of the year.
Right, right.